Hello friends, here we are. It is almost Thanksgiving and I'm still working on my crazy witches. Yes, I'm still working. I have to finish the head on that one. So this video is going to be about hands, the long-awaited hands video. And I did a little eyebrow fixing. I'm going to show you that later on. But right now I'm just going to go on the video about how we do the hands. So measuring the hand, your hand is about the size of your face, from your chin to your nose. Here I have some floral wire, some pliers, some floral tape, and some larger, I believe it's 22 gauge wire. I do have some epoxy sculpt, which I have another video showing you how to use that. But we'll have a quick little refresher in this video. So here I am with the floral wire. It's just a thinner gauge wire, and just kind of measuring out how much I'm going to use. Again, your hand is about from your chin to your nose, measurement wise, and I do have that PDF that I showed a few seconds ago on my Etsy page if you'd like to use that. These dolls are not to size on that PDF, but you can use that PDF for a smaller doll, and my future dolls will go off of that PDF from the Etsy page. I was told that the ink sometimes prints a little light, so if you can darken your image, or you can just kind of go over it with a darker pigment. So only one person had that issue. So just maybe her printer was low on ink. So just wanted to let you know. So here I have the wire, and just kind of measuring it for the length of the fingers. So there they are, all laid out for all my different hands. I have a lot of hands going at once for all those dolls. So if you're just doing one doll, you will only need 2 hands. Unless you're doing, I don't know, a doll with multiple hands. I guess you could be doing that. So I hope everyone is doing well. On this particular method, I did combine the wire, the fingers. I did find it a little bit fiddly, so for the future, I would just make each finger separately and then combine them in the wool wrapping process. So here I did combine them in the wire armature process, but I did find it a little bit difficult to maneuver them around and get them how I wanted, and then some of the fingers ended up longer than I wanted. And I didn't particularly care for how they ended up. So again, in the future, just leave them as single wires, wrap them, and then combine them in the wrapping process. So I will show that method on a future video. But if you find that too difficult, then you can always do it the way I'm showing you now, where you're just combining the wires and then wrapping them. But again, for me, when I put the wool on, some of the fingers were longer than they should be, but since I'm doing witches and I made them up already, I just kind of left them. I figured, witches, their fingers would be kind of gnarly and long, and I did put some fingernails with the epoxy sculpt on the end, so I did end up just leaving them. So that is one change that I will make. So here I'm just combining the wires. You can just twist it around, however you can get it to go. I don't love working with the wire. It kind of hurts my fingers. So this is not my favorite part, but the pliers definitely help. This is a needle nose plier, and I have the Amazon links at the beginning of the video if you want to buy, needle nose pliers from Amazon. So if you don't want to search, or you can just search for them, but if you want to use a link, it'll be in the paragraph in the front. So the trick is the floral tape. This is really a wonderful thing. It's kind of sticky, and it just helps the wool to wrap around. It fixes a number of errors in the wire. So it really helps. I would definitely use it just for the tackiness alone. Just helps kind of the wool to grip on. So I really like using this, and it's just a floral wire. I'm sorry, a floral tape. You can get it in all different colors. Mine here, of course, is like a white, but you know, just so that it doesn't show through the wool. But if you want a different color, you can. So hope everyone is doing good. I've been gone for quite a while, just living life. So I tried to make some videos over the period of time. I have not made much progress on these dolls. I'm looking forward to a new style that I'm going to be introducing to you. So that is exciting. That'll be coming up as soon as I may jump away from these ones to work on the new ones, just to have a little bit of a break. Too many at once. This was too many of these large dolls at once for me. So here's that PDF I was talking to you about. You can see the writing maybe didn't show up as dark as you might like it. So here I'm using the stronger wire. It's just a little bit of a thicker wire. The gauge doesn't really matter, just so that it's substantial, that it's not floppy. So I'm just wrapping it around the hand, and this wire will be the arm. So just kind of get it around. It doesn't have to be perfect. And again, you can use the floral tape to seal some of those sharp edges so they don't poke through the wool. So it's really not too difficult to do the hands. I know some people can be kind of nervous about doing hands, but really it's, you know, just kind of getting them on there. They are fiddly, they are little, but just give it a go. I have some new ideas for the next dolls I'm going to be doing. Was thinking about the Harry Potter series or the Coraline series. So those are some that I might be doing. Also maybe a squirrel. So let me know in the comments what you might like to see. So I'm almost finished with these ladies. You can see I have about half of a face there for the last witch. Is that Mary, the witch Mary. So we just had Halloween. I missed my deadline. I suppose maybe by next Halloween, these ladies will be done. So here I'm just measuring how long I want that arm to be. And these arms will be joined by like a button joint or a string joint, so that they'll be movable, just like the legs were done. And if you want to see that, there are in a previous video that I have posted on how to attach the legs. So if you're liking these videos, please subscribe. I know I haven't been around for a while, but it is winter now, so hopefully I will have some more inside time to do some videos. Here's Winifred. She did get some new eyebrows. Those are not her eyebrows anymore, and I will show you a picture of that. I do have some pictures on my Instagram of some changes that I made to the ladies. So I'm just measuring out my arms. I have completed, I think, 6 arms. So I have 6 more to go, and then I will be attaching them. So you can see why it's taking so long. I recommend working on one doll at a time for all future dolls. So just my little recommendation, but you do whatever you want to do. So there's the hand. So again, I think doing one at a time, one finger digit at a time would also help to orient some of the finger placement. So, and I will show you how to do that in the next doll. So here's the epoxy sculpt. You are just going to wear gloves. You take a little bit of part A, a little bit of part B, and you mix them together. My epoxy sculpt is rather old, so you can add a little bit of water to get it to mix together a little bit more easily. Mine was pretty stiff. So after some kneading, I just take a little bit off and put it on the top, and that is going to be a fingernail. So this is an air dry clay, so you don't have to bake it. Definitely keep your gloves on during the mixing part. That is when the chemical reaction takes place. So you definitely want to wear your gloves for the mixing part. I did take it off towards the end. I'm not planning on using epoxy sculpt once I'm done with, what I've already purchased. I just don't like using it. So any long-term reaction, you can develop an allergy over time. So if you're going to be using it long-term, maybe keep your gloves on. But I was bad and took mine off because they were sticking to everything. So there's my little fingernails. And if they do come off and they don't stick to the wire, which I did have a couple kind of pop off, you just put a little super glue and then, put them back in. So if you want to be 100%, I gave each one a little tug when they were finished to make sure that they stayed on. And any of them that did come off, I just put a little super glue. So here we are. I think I am making yet another hand. Okay, so here we are starting the wrapping process. So I have some MC1 here from Living Felt, and it's just a mixture of some of their skin tone colors. The pale peach and I believe maybe sand, but whatever skin tone you want to use is just fine. I do like the MC1. I know they had some trouble getting it in lately, but it looks like it's starting to be restocked. It took quite a while to come back in. So thankfully, I believe it is back and you can order it again. So I'm just kind of starting at the hand, and all you're really going to do for this part is just wrap around, and you're just going to be going around and around. There's not much to it. You want to do tight wraps, and you can kind of needle a little bit in between. You can use your coarse needle or your medium needle right here, and this is wool fiber if you're not familiar with my channel. So again, this is MC1 Living Felt wool, and this is needle felting. So you're just using a medium needle and just felting it in. So here are some of the girls. That is the string jointing that's going to be happening. So here is the hand with the fingernails placed on. And for the arm part, since it's probably going to be covered with clothes, just to cut down on cost, I am using a core wool. So it's a little bit of a cheaper wool. And I am doing just the arm part with the core wool. So, yep, there you can see I'm giving some of the fingernails a little tug. And if they do come off, just a little bit of super glue just to make sure that they stay on. And I will later be painting those with some acrylic paint. You can also just use nail polish, although I did read that nail polish would maybe degrade over time. So just to be on the safe side, you might just want to use acrylic paint. So here I make the mistake of going up the fingers with the core wool, and then I'm pretty sure I have to take that back off. So, get your brain in gear there and know what you're doing before you start. Clearly, here we go. I'm taking it back off. So wasn't thinking. And the colored wool you want on the hands to keep it thin, and the core wool you want on the arm. So easy to fix. These are the things that happen when you're not paying attention. So just go around and around, needle down, and then you can just keep building until you get your desired arm width. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So I hope that makes sense, that to do the digits of the finger one at a time instead of combining them through the armature. So you can do either way. As you can see with the armature, you're kind of locked into place. So if one digit of the hand seems to be too long than it should be, you're kind of stuck. So on my next dolls, I will be doing just each digit on its own and then combining them and putting them where I want to in the wrapping process. So whichever way works for you, but I just wanted to clarify the difference for the next time. But it's all basically done the same. You just have your wire, you're wrapping, and then you're placing them together, and then you are tacking them together. So you just kind of fold over the end when you get to the end of the wire, and then just build up your thickness. If you go in at an angle when you are needle felting, you will not hit the wire. I don't ever really have problems with it. So here you're just wrapping tight, tight, tight on those fingers. This is the colored wool at this point, the MC1. And needle felting in. When you get finished with the wrapping and you have the thickness that you want, you can switch to a finer needle and just poke, poke, poke until you get all the little fuzzies tacked down. And then I will go over with some sealant. I do have a video showing that. So when you get all the digits covered with wool, you're going to add a little bit of thickness to the palm of the hand, maybe, around where the fingers join together. So just kind of look at your hand to model, and you can just add a little bit of, little pieces to add some bulk up, and then you'll want to bulk up the wrist area, like the heel of your hand. You'll want to kind of bulk up that area so that it looks more realistic. So just look at your hand and keep building, and you'll get there. You can add little tufts for the knuckles if you want. These hands are so tiny that I don't think it's super necessary to get really very detailed. But if you want to, then, it's all about what you want to do on your doll. So here is where I'm adding a little bit for the palm of the hand and the heel of the hand, just to add a little bit of width where the wrist meets the hand. And then just use that fine needle when you get to tacking down the fuzzies and kind of smoothing everything out. Really take your time on that part of it so that, it's nice and smooth. The hands, you don't want them to fall apart. People are probably going to move the fingers around. So, really take your time in getting it nice and tight, and all the fuzzies incorporated into your project. So you can see some of my finger placement. This is what I was talking about when you do the wire ahead of time. You're kind of stuck. You can't change it once the underwire is there. So if you do each finger on its own, then you can kind of make them longer, shorter, move the placement within the hand. So I'll definitely be doing it that way in the future. So there's a little hand. Just kind of keep going until you're happy. Just wrapping a little bit on the wrist, the colored wool on the wrist, just, in case the clothing doesn't cover the arm completely. And then you're pretty much done. So just needle felting all that down. But yeah, please do subscribe. I will be finishing these hands, and then I'll probably show Mary's face a little bit on that video, how to finish up her face. And then, we'll move into clothing. And then I may just jump to the new style that I'm going to be doing. They're going to be ball jointed, jointed, and then maybe using some beading or some little felted balls instead of the beading. So they'll be articulated at the wrist and feet, and definitely a smaller size, more of like kind of like a Barbie doll size. So that'll be really fun to see those come to life. So let me know which characters maybe you would like to see. Yeah. And then if you want to show me what you're working on, I know it's been a long time since I started these dolls. So maybe you finished one that you were working on. You can always let me know what you're doing. So just adding some more core wool here. And you're basically just going around and around. The hands are really not very difficult. These hands are not articulated at the wrist joint, which my next ones will be. So that'll be really fun. And to see how I can show you how to do that. So lots of good ideas. I have done that on some of my previous works. It's a nice feature. I'm trying to decide whether I want to use the clay. I did get some, not the epoxy sculpt, I did get some just regular air dry clay, or whether I want to do like a felted ball. I'm trying to decide if the string will pull through eventually. So I don't think it will, especially, these aren't really toys. So I think it would be okay. So I just have to decide which one I want to do. And then when you're all finished with these, I definitely would seal the hands with like the glue mixture that I talk about in the previous video. So it's basically just the Mod Podge, a watered down Mod Podge, and then you just kind of paint it on and let it dry. So I do have a video showing that. It's the same glue mixture that I use for the face. So I will be doing that when I paint them. So here's the hands finished. And there you can see the eyebrows. The new eyebrows are on the right. So I did replace that embroidery string. I didn't like how the color didn't match, and it just was too noticeable that it was embroidery thread. So I really like the wool better. So in here I fixed Winifred's. I just used the wool. So you can do whichever you prefer. I liked the wool. Well, thanks guys. Great to see you.